Yeah. Welcome back. Just gonna vibe real quick. This is that jam. This is if you don't know, this sound that you're hearing now is Nas, New York State of Mind Part 2. Part 2. You understand? Everybody knows the New York State of Mind Part 1. Both DJ Premier. But this is Part 2. Alright, I suggest you look it up. It's only the instrumental. But look the song up. A lot of jewels, a lot of knowledge. We call it jewels. It's like diamonds and gold buried in the brain. We gotta dig that up. We gotta dig it up. See how it shines. You know what I'm saying? But again, another day. News report from the I.S.C.S.D.R. Independent City State of the Democratic Republic. Yeah, that's where we at. All right. Again, citizens here in this 50 square footage of the city state, of the sovereign city state of the Democratic Republic, independent sovereign city state of the Democratic Republic. The square footage here, we not reporting on that. We're reporting on what happens outside of our square footage. The rest of the world. Why? It betters me. It betters us. We gotta know. We gotta know what's gonna happen. See what I'm saying? Know what I mean? Very, very groovy beat. Sorry, I'm vibing to it a little bit. I'm biased with Nas. I used to listen to Nas a lot. Still do. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hell yeah. So, again, welcome. News for the day. We're gonna do a little something new. Well, not new. We're gonna do a little something new. And I'm hopefully gonna keep it going. Hopefully gonna keep this one going. Where I have 3 topics. We're gonna have a social news. We're gonna have a political news and a science or tech news. Okay, we're gonna focus on these 3 things. All right. Again, rest in peace, MF Doom. It's very fresh. Very good artist. Again, look that up. You look at the last video, you'll see the instrumentals I played in the beginning. I want y'all to dive deep in that. Okay. But let's warm you up. Let's warm y'all up with some news. Okay. Yesterday we spoke on tank-knapping. I don't know if you remember tank-knapping. All right. Well, Iran's allegedly kidnapped or tank-napped a huge tanker, a ship carrying oil, about 7,000 or so tons of oil, and they held it for hostage. It's South Korean owned. Korean people are on there, Myanmar people on there, Vietnamese people on there, things like that are on that ship. These are crew members, okay, and South Korea said, hey, we want that back. But the catch is Iran wants their money. I don't get it. What do you mean by money? Well, look at the last video. You'll see what I was talking about. But here today, we're just gonna continue that story because I want you to see the point that I was making yesterday. Where today, they are in a game. Iran in the Western world is in a little bit of a game, a little bit of a poker game. All right, so to speak. As you know, again, Iran is surrounded by desert. Natural resources are very low. Certain natural resources are very low, especially ones that give life to humans, i.e. water, fresh water. And they require another power source to cultivate this water. Oil is a power source. Nuclear energy is also a power source. But why can't they don't have nuclear energy? Does anybody know why? Good question. I'm about to answer that right now. So Iran has been on a deal, all right, or they've been put on restrictions, all right, Western restrictions, obviously, for uranium and nuclear things, all right. They want to say nuclear missiles. I think it's just nuclear power plants they want to build for energy. But the Western world has put them on a little bit of a sanction, all right. So they say, hey, look, you can't have all these nuclear weapons. You can't have a bunch of uranium even in your possession, because we're afraid that you're going to use it to do things to us. All right. But that is from a 2015 deal. Who was president in 2015? Who was? I'll let you answer that. So it was a 2015 deal, okay, saying that they could not have excess amounts of uranium, weapons grade material, in their country. Okay. 20% is about 90% of the work required to get the weapons grade. Okay. By enriching uranium to 20%, Iran would stand only one technical step away from producing weapons grade material needed for an atomic bomb. All right. That's, again, this is all fear mongering. I mean, it's just, again, this is fake news. All right. So this is fear mongering. This is just them saying, hey, look, this Biden, this other lady, Kelsey Davenport, director of the non-proliferation policy of the Nonprofit Arms Control Association. Kelsey Davenport doesn't sound anywhere close to an Iranian name, okay, or anyone that's associated with the Middle East. Does that make sense? So Kelsey Davenport apparently is the director of the Arms Control Association, and that explains itself, where they control, they are overseeing arms control, meaning if you have excess amounts of guns in your house, we are allowed to go in there and say, hey man, you can only have 10 guns, you got 50 in here, get rid of 40 of those. Matter of fact, we're taking 40 of those, and I even put a sanction on that to down that 10 that you have back to 5 because you went over our deal. Make sense? So restrictions in Iran on uranium, in turn, is causing a conflict that Iran's foreign minister wants to try to negotiate with Biden. And it's a perfect time for them to kidnap this tanker. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was planned for this reason, but whatever. I mean, it's according to fake news, it is. All right, according to fake news, yeah, they tank nap this ship. All right, around the same time that there is a change of hands with Trump and Biden, hoping that Biden could then say, oh, hey, Trump's out, we're gonna strike a new deal with you. You need to return this tanker though, but we're gonna strike a deal with you. We understand what you're saying. Maybe. I doubt it. There's a long history of Western and Middle Eastern conflicts. Okay. We'll look at a little bit of the business side, or what I like to call the social side of stuff. All right, business to me is all social. If I'm talking to you and I need money, I need to talk to you, I need to speak with you, right? If I'm selling a product to you, it's marketing. All right, I have to know you, or it's preferred to know you, to kind of figure you out to see if I can sell this product to you. Does that make sense? A very social experiment. All right. But what we're looking at here, this is about 24 minutes ago. This is recent. All right. The president and CEO of the Partnership of New York City says that this is not just a political game. Okay. As far as the election goes, it's not just a political game. It's not just Trump dancing around the poll boxes trying to conjure up a spirit to get him 11,000 votes or something like that. It's not. This is not a game. You have actual people's finances and businesses in the balance of this. All right, but why? Why are businesses so pertained and specifically delved into the political nature of the outside country, of the U.S.? Why? Same reason, like I just said. Same reason I just said. Each business needs to know the political climate of their country. All right, the social climate, so that they can then do what? They can then market or tailor their business to the climate of the U.S. And watch my last video, you'll see what I was saying with that. Okay, so you have Apple, right? For example, I'll just take Apple for example. I was saying, hey, look, you need to tell us who's winning. Basically, you need to tell us. Like, Apple will go to Congress and say, hey, look, is Biden the president or not? Is it true? Is it not? So that way I can then, because Biden has what? Biden is him, but he also has what? Like he has a black vice president. The office is going to be filled with a bunch of multicultural, multi-diversified people. So businesses are no longer going to be parlaying to the people that it was before, the all-white Congress or these conservative people or whatever it is. Now businesses have to be more socially responsible and say, hey, look, I'm Apple. I was reaching out to just the rich white people of the world or the conservatives of the world with my products. But now I can be a little more leisurely with how I market, or be a little more liberal with how I market. Why? Because the office is filled with liberal people, if that makes sense. Okay. So like I said, I don't like politics. Okay. I don't like politics. I don't think it's influenced by a ballot that I put in the box. I think it's influenced by exactly what is being reported on the news, or fake news right now. Exactly what's being reported, where they're trying to figure out, hey, is this person going into office? Because if Biden is going into office, if Biden and Kamala are going to be in the office, most of my commercials need to be interracial commercials. You see what I'm saying? Most of my products need to be tailored for homes that are going to have mixed children in it, something like that. All right, that's just what it is. Last but not least, science. Okay, science is one of my favorite subjects. That makes sense. All right, one of mine. Besides language arts, literature, English, I enjoy reading, I enjoy writing, but more importantly, science is the thing that blows the mind. All right, but science isn't talked about a lot. Why? Why don't we talk about science in the social environment like that? I can't walk up to the average citizen and say, "Hey, look, you heard about a quasar?" You look at me crazy. A quasar? I know about stocks and bonds. I know what chicken is served in Publix. You see what I'm saying? Or Kroger, whatever it is, whatever these markets are, right? But I don't know about a quasar. Why is that important? Let's find out. So, apparently Einstein was right. Apparently Einstein is correct in some portions of his theory of relativity, specifically this one, where a white dwarf star twists space-time as it spins, forcing the orbit of a neighboring pulsar to wobble. Okay. If you don't know theory of relativity, it's basically everything relates. More specifically, in this context, a bigger white dwarf is turning in a way that messes with the fabrics of space, meaning that anything that's orbiting it will then turn as well. Does that make sense? If his theory of relativity was false, the only way this would be debunking this theory of relativity is if this same star is turning in its own space like this, and it doesn't matter. This is still gonna go around. The pulsar is still gonna go around in the same circle. Don't matter what this thing does. Does that make sense? But it's not like that. Okay, what's happening here is this dwarf star, this white dwarf, is doing all kinds of stuff, and because of that, its orbiting pulsar is now turning and doing things as well. Okay, so Einstein is correct about that. He's right about that. All right. The twist is predicted by the physicist's theory of general relativity. It's causing the orbit of one stellar corpse to teeter around another stellar corpse. All right. It's pretty powerful. Pretty powerful. Okay. Why does that relate? Why do we care about that? Well, you can go deep and say, hey, look, we are made of the same stuff. Theory of relativity is the same. If I'm around someone and I start going off of my rocker, what's going to happen to that person that's around me? See what I'm saying? If I'm around someone and I'm constantly on the same schedule every day, or I'm controlling what I'm doing, what's going to happen to the orbiting person or individual or dog or cat or whatever around me? they're going to be on the same. Does that make sense? It's theory of relativity. Now, as far as space goes, as far as the bigger scale of things, the larger scale of us living on this planet, the Earth decides to, if we do something that decides to teeter the Earth, if we do something that decides to flop it, what's going to happen with the moon? What's going to happen with neighboring planets around it? Are they also going to flop? Is the moon also going to change within everything else? Change for us. So we just got to make sure that we don't do any experiments with the moon or vice versa. Okay, or the Earth. Okay, so if I decide to go, if I decide that I wanted to take my independent sovereign city state of the Democratic Republic to the moon, and we say, hey, look, man, we're just gonna blow a chunk out of this moon and harvest the rocks, messes with its gravitational, messes with its axis a little bit, right? Does that do anything based on theory of relativity? Does that do anything with the Earth, or no? Does the Earth then have to adjust to that gravitation, to that rotation that the moon is doing? Who knows, right? So we'll see when I get there. Okay, so we had 3 topics here. All right, Iran playing poker with the West. Iran playing poker, trying to hide their poker face behind that tanker. About 7,000 tons of oil. Why does that affect me? Well, I know how valuable oil is now. See what I'm saying? I know how desperate a region can be to get what they need to get to promote more natural resources for their people. I know how desperate that can be, and how it can get. So, and we also know the disposition towards the Middle East. We also know that. Okay, so if we know socially that not necessarily here in the I.S.C.S.D.R, but in the outside, in the U.S., it's a lot of people that don't necessarily care for Middle Eastern people. Okay, that's been put on a pedestal throughout the years. Okay, but we don't know why. We just think that they're whatever they are. But that's not the case. The case is these are people too, and then more importantly, bigger scope, there's a whole region there that's all desert. Come on, y'all. Let's just be realistic. If you living in the middle of Arizona right now, you know what's up. You know what it is. Okay? All right. Secondly, hey, politicians, stop playing games. Just stop. Tell us what's up. All right? Tell us what's up. So that way big businesses can then market to us better. Right? I mean, that's really what's going on. Okay? Businesses need to know. And until that changes, that's exactly what's going to happen. There's businesses that's just going to be basing their commercials, their products, everything that they have on the political structure of the U.S., which also affects essentially the social structure of the U.S. because we don't have many free minds here. Okay, that's a whole nother topic of discussion. But yes, all right. As far as it goes here, I expect to see from the outside world, from the satellites I have out here in the U.S. and in America country and in the globe, I expect to see more imitations of whoever is in office. Biden, most likely. But if Trump does whatever, then hey, you'll expect to see businesses do more Trump stuff. Okay? All right, that makes sense. All right, last but not least, them quasars, bro. Them quasars. All right, theory of relativity makes sense. According to this situation, according to space, the theory of relativity makes sense. If one thing starts wobbling, the next thing is going to wobble around it. Hey, that is what it is. Okay? And I want to encourage people to think the same way. Science relates. All right? Everything kind of ties into everything. Okay? So if you have a planet doing one thing, don't take it literally, obviously. You know, read between the lines. If I have a planet that's doing one thing, I'm probably going to do the same because I'm made up of the same structures that this planet is made up of. Okay, gravity and everything else is all real. Okay, if that makes sense. All right. Hey, look, appreciate everyone being here. Appreciate you again for tuning in. All right, we're gonna end you off with something I always like to do. A little bit of respiration. Little bit of respiration. Just relax. Take in all the news you just received. And let's get it going. Mos Def, that's the artist. Not saying Mos Def. Mos Def is the artist. Respiration is the track. Very powerful stuff. Very powerful stuff. I suggest you look this up as well. Dive deep. Mos Def. Respiration. Rest in peace. Doom. Peace, love, knowledge. Use your head for more than a hat rack.